Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I have a pretty awesome video for you guys because it is including an eye tracker. That means this little circle on the screen right here that you guys see is going to be tracking where I'm looking. Not where I'm looking right now, but where I'm looking while I'm playing this game. So what's so cool about this video is that you guys are going to be able to see in the game where I'm actually looking on my screen, which you should be able to learn from to be able to, like, okay, I'm looking at Gladius, I'm looking at buffs, I'm looking at debuffs, I'm looking at cooldowns, looking at positioning. And as you can see, I'm going to be pausing this video a lot, guys, just so I can slow it down. But as you can see, this right here is where I'm looking. I'm looking at the enemy team. I might be glancing at buffs. I might be glancing at focus buffs. I might be glancing at cast bars over here in Gladius. I might be briefly looking down here at my Icy Veins, my Orb, my Comet Storm, Ice Nova, Ebon Bolt, things like that. But I think a lot of the time is going to be buffs, debuffs, and Gladius, and my party frames as well. And a lot of my cooldowns down here, I think, I remember in my head, and then I can briefly glance at positioning as well. But let's go ahead and play this game out just a little bit. As you can see, I'm looking at Gladius, looking at positioning, looking at all three of them, where they're standing, looking at Gladius once again to see if there's any cheap shots for any CC. And as you can see, guys, my eyes are not staying in one place for very long. I'm looking at something, I'm scanning to see if there's CC on the Shaman, I might be scanning to see what's on the Paladin, I might be scanning this, I'm just scanning all over the place. I'm not just like, let me just stare, at one specific spot. You're constantly looking all over the screen, and that's how you get good awareness. That's how you know what's going on in a game. A lot of people in the chat be like, how did you know, he was casting that, or how did you know this was going to happen? It's because I'm constantly scanning the screen, constantly trying to be aware of everything I can be aware of. There's the kidney shot, there's the orb, looking at the priest, looking, when I'm scanning here at Gladius, guys, I'm looking at the CC a lot of the times. I'm looking at if I need to counterspell something. Right here, I'm looking at the Hex being casted by the Shaman, which means I should probably counterspell that Hex so that he doesn't get that Hex on the cross CC. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Yeah, I do counterspell that Hex. So it looks like just constantly scanning and being aware of those type of cast really allows me to set up these triple CC chains with. By the way, we're playing Frost Sub RMP. I guess I didn't mention that we're playing against Shadow Priest, Holy Elemental Shaman, but really allows us to get that triple CC because I really know what's going on. So we have the cheap shot on the Priest, cheap shot on the Paladin, counterspell on the Elemental Shaman, another cheap shot here on the Paladin. Right here, I'm staring at the Paladin's buffs. That's because Paladin's low HP, and we know he wants to pop that Aura Mastery, so I'm saving my next global to try to spell steal the Aura Mastery. Not sure if it's actually going to happen. Doesn't look like it. He does bubble, and now we back off. Here I'm looking at Gladius, briefly looking at DRs, kill that Sky Fury Totem, looking at Shaman's health bar, looking at that cast bar, looking back down on my screen. Right now is kind of like a chill point in the game, as I say a lot of the times in the guides. We're chilling. We just got the Pally's bubble, we got the Shaman Trinket, now we're playing back, we're casting Frostbolts, we're gathering Icicles, and then as we collect our damage with those Frostbolts, the diminishing returns fade off Polymorph, off our stuns. Now we're going to push back in, get triple stuns or double stuns, get a Fear, get a Polymorph, get a Blind, get a Kidney, get a Counterspell, throw out a bunch of damage, and get some more offensive cooldown or defensive cooldowns from the enemy team. As you can see, a lot of the times when I'm looking at my own health bar, I'm actually glancing right here instead of up here. That's just because I find it easier. Sometimes I'll look up here, but almost every time I'm looking at the party health bars, party mana bars as well. Looking across my screen at positioning, target that Earth Grab Totem, look at the Shaman, looking at the Gladius once again for the diminishing returns. Looks like we're ready to go. Paladin's Blind, any trinkets, looking at Nauseous health bar, Kidney shot, looking at the middle of my screen. So I'm looking all over the place. And one thing to notice is I'm not looking down here very much at all. Actually, as I paused it, it was down here. But the majority of the time, if you guys watch this video, I'm looking up here. I'm looking up here, 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 here. Here, 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 here. I'm not in that specific order, but bouncing between what is needed, and then positioning out in front of me. A lot of the times I'm not looking down at the bottom of my screen. I'm not really looking at my health too much. I'm not looking at my buffs too much because I can tell a lot of what I have just based on my procs on my screen. And as far as debuffs, I'm only looking at my debuffs every once in a while as well, because you can kind of tell what's happening. Well, I guess I see my debuffs generally here, but if I get CC'd, I sometimes will glance up here as well. But we're running back behind the pillar. We're kind of hanging out. We got the Blind on the Pally, and he trinketed the Kidney shot on the Shaman. Too much didn't really happen right there. And we can really kill anything here. We can kill Priest, we can kill Shaman, we can kill Pally, depending on how the setups are going to work. The main thing that we want to be aware of is that triple CC when we go. So polymorphing the Shadow Priest there, orbing with a Kidney Shot Bomb over onto the Elemental Shaman. And this is Icy Veins, guys. This is Icy Veins. This is a ton of damage. I actually am a Void Elf, and I have that Void Elf proc too. That's pretty funny. That's pretty cool. Tons of burst here. Paladin's really far. He's not really going to be able to make his way into the bomb for another second or two, and the Priest is polymorph, so he can't make his way into the bomb to throw out that life swap either. So we should get some more defensive cooldowns here. Looks like Pally's running in. I do sheep him on his way in, and we get that life swap from the Shadow Priest. Still a ton of damage coming in from the Elemental Shaman. We hit the Priest for a second after that swap, and we do get dispersion as well. Paladin is going to throw out that sacrifice. It's going to break the Ring of Frost, but we got... now we have Pally's Trinket, we have Shaman's Trinket, we have the Life Swap, and the Dispersion from the Shadow Priest, and the Shaman's nice and low still, and I think that was his wall as well. I could be wrong on that one, but a lot of defensive cooldowns nonetheless. Full Kidney Shot coming on the Pally, that Bob coming on the Pally, looking at that Bob to Spell Steal. I do manage to get that Spell Steal, and I do get that Focus Spell Steal kick as well on the Aura Mastery. So I'm just going to replay that. A lot of people, specifically with this play, they're like, how do you do it so fast? Do you, like, because the Divine Favor, guys, makes you immune to counterspell. So you have to Spell Steal the Divine Favor and kick before the fast cast goes off. So I'm just going to play it really quickly. I was looking at the Bop, and then my eyes looked up here at the Priest, but then I see the Divine Favor, so I immediately scan back. My eyes scan back to that Divine Favor. The cast is already going off. Once again, guys, if I counterspell right here, it's not going to work. I have to Spell Steal and then counterspell, and I'm just going to pause and unpause as quickly as I can. Spell Steal and Counterspell right before the end of that cast goes off. There was that Counterspell that landed onto the Paladin. Priest is getting very, very, very low here. It looks like it's going to be some more defensive cooldowns from them. Nice kind of off heals from the LA Shaman, peels from the LA Shaman. Priest lives for now, but the Shaman's in some trouble as well. We have some pressure back between both of them. Here's something I really want to note. I landed the full polymorph on the Paladin here, and where are my eyes? Right here. This may be surprising that they're not up here. My damage rotation, guys, is like clockwork. I don't need to focus on the Shaman, his health, his mana, my abilities, anything like that. What am I focused on? I'm focused on this Mass Dispel being casted by the Priest for the polymorph. Actually, right now, I don't have a counterspell available because I counterspelled the Pally on that fast cast, but normally, I would save my counterspell, so I polymorph the Pally, counterspell that Mass Dispel, and continue damage. I have to keep an eye on this, and that's more important than keeping an eye on, anything that's happening up here, because I'm getting my damage off either way, but I really need to be aware of other spells being casted. There's the Mind Control being casted by the Shadow Priest. He does Trinket it into another Mind Control. Another Polymorph comes out onto the Paladin. I'm looking at how long is left. That Sacrifice now comes off, and then we're doing a swap onto the Paladin, keeping an eye onto him. As you can see, guys, I briefly look down here, right about here, to see, do I have Calm Storm, do I have Ice Nova, and then back up. And a lot of the times, I will recommend having like abilities next to each other on your action bar so that you can quickly scan and then quickly look back up to where you need to be looking at. That's why I have Cold Snap and Ice Block right next to each other. That's why I have Comet Storm and Ice Nova, very similar. That's why I have Icy Veins and Orb next to each other. A lot of my abilities, guys, I have paired my defensive cooldowns, Ice Barrier, Temp Shield, next to each other. I have them paired for this reason so that I can quickly look, see what I have, and quickly look back up at the game. We're getting that triple CC off, Shadow Priest, in that Polymorph, Elemental Shaman with that counterspell, but now it's time to retreat back to the pillar, kind of let our Priest top us back off. My Rogue's actually getting very, very low right here. Earth Grab Totem goes down, we kill it, and now we pretty much just need one more setup. They have no life swap. I think the Shadow Priest probably has Dispersion back by now, but Pally has no bubble. He's getting his Trinket back very soon, so maybe one or two more setups to close out this game will hopefully be all that we need. Casting some more Frostbolts. Once again, Frostbolt doesn't do damage, it builds damage. Getting that double blink Polymorph across the map. Doesn't look like I quite get it. Throw out the Trinket to try to get that Polymorph. I do get Hammer of Justice instead. Not the greatest Trinket there. That Blood Elf Silence comes out as well. That keeps off my Polymorph's attempt, but I finally get it. Once again, guys, I'm going to just rewind. As soon as I get this Polymorph, look where my eyes are. Right? Well, they went to Gladius for a second. Right. I don't know if I can pause it, but it goes to Gladius just for a second here. And I do have some peripheral vision. So if I'm looking like right here, I can see more of like a circle like this, right? Maybe even larger, maybe more like this. Because This is like the center of where my eyes are focusing, but I can still see, what's being casted. So I have the counter spell if that master spell does come out, and I briefly am checking for it, see the mind control is being casted instead. Check if I have counter spell, check back up here at the mind control cast. He did get that mind control. I could have counter spelled the mind control. Problem with that is then he gets the master spell off because I have no counter spell. Nice fear coming in from my priest. Pally does decide to trinket that fear that came out on the priest and of the paladin. So now Pally has no trinket, no bubble, and he just used his final bomb. So we could do a swap onto the paladin. We could do a swap on either the priest or the shaman. I think priest has the dispersion, and shaman might have that wall back up as well. So Pally could be the best target here. I don't think he has bubble, trinket. There's no life swap either. So if we can get a nice swap over to him with maybe a sheep on the priest, a fear on the shaman, or a sheep on the shaman, fear on the priest, kidney shot on the paladin, we could definitely take him out. I have icy veins in about 18 seconds here. So definitely waiting on that. Just collecting damage with some more frost bolts. There's the kidney shot onto the paladin. I'm trying to get that ring of frost, but it doesn't look like I can quite get it. Shaman's getting quite low. My priest gets feared. Sacrifice comes out from the paladin, making the shaman immune. So we swap it over to the priest just for a sec. But I think at this point in the game, now that the priest and the shaman are getting back their trinkets, and I have icy veins back up, I think the play here is for me to get another orb with blizzard and then just do an all-in go on paladin with double cross you see on Shadow Priest and Shaman. Let's see what we end up actually doing here. If I get an Ebon Bolt off with the Icy Veins too, it could just be the end of something as well. Tons of damage coming out. There's the kick onto the Shaman. We should throw a polymorph out, but it doesn't look like we actually do that. Keeping an eye on Gladius though, as you see my eye tracker, I'm looking at Focus, I'm looking at Paladin, I'm looking at Gladius. I have that counterspell available, so I'm looking to counterspell something. I use the Icy Veins, Comet Storm, Ice Nova. Not the greatest combo, but cast out that Ebon Bolt. Do get sheared, unfortunately. And it looks like Pally actually gets blinded there on that Divine Favor. Spell Steal the Divine Favor. Pally's nice and low. If we can get a sap off of that and just kill, actually throw that Ring of Frost off of that, that's really nice. Sheep the Shaman as well. And now we can counterspell the Mind Control. So this is what we're looking at, man. This is exactly the type of situation that we want. Paladin's low HP in the ring with 3 seconds left. He is off of Stun DR in 3 seconds. The Polymorph's landing on the Elemental Shaman. Shadow Priest casting that Mind Control. Boom. Blink CS it. Right? We're constantly aware of what's happening, and we're triple CCing, triple controlling the enemy with the Polymorph, the ring, and the Counterspell. This is exactly the type of situation we want to put ourselves into. He's throwing out that Massive Spell now, but it does get kicked by Naj. Beautiful kick there. And then the full kidney shot comes out of the Paladin. No Trinket, no Bob, no Bubble, no anything. Orb should be enough to finish him off. Another cheap shot lands, and the Pally eventually should go down. I think he goes down right here. 10% life, mind controlled, and he finally goes down. That was actually a very close call. He almost survived there. But yeah, I thought this game was cool. We slowly rotated through the enemy's cooldowns. Our positioning, we played back, and then we pushed back in. They have a lot of defensive cooldowns to rotate through. But really, guys, I'm really excited to show you guys this cool eye tracker. The company Toby sent me it, so shout out to Toby. They're not sponsoring this video or anything like that, but they did send me the eye tracker, so I thought that was very, very nice of them, and I'm very happy to use it on my live streams and to use it on the YouTube videos as well. Let me know what you guys think of the eye tracker down below in the comments, of course. And as you can see at the end, I'm looking at damage, I look at the MMR, then I press leave arena, so it's really tracking exactly where the center of my eyes are looking, which is pretty freaking incredible. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you did not enjoy this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs down and talk to me in the comments really about what you thought of this eye tracker technology. If there's probably some people just wondering, how does it work? It's a little like eye tracking laser that I put on the bottom of my monitor, and it just looks at my eyes. I can't believe how accurate it is. I am at a loss of words. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to have to wear some type of contact lens or glasses for this to work. Nope. All it is just a little laser that I put on the bottom of my monitor, and it knows where I'm looking. A little creepy, but a little awesome. I just can't believe how accurate it is. But guys, if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I like to do a bunch of these arena walkthroughs. I haven't been uploading as much as I've really been wanting to. Been live streaming a ton. I have a bunch of BFA footage and a bunch of BFA content for you guys, what I think about the new honor talents coming in the future as well. So don't forget to subscribe for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.